Watch this.
In a time when millions of dollars are being poured into college sports, Boise State is losing money. A major move is contributing to that deficit, which could grow a lot more by next year if the university doesn't get a handle on it. What used to be an option for affordable housing appears to be dwindling. So where have all the mobile homes gone? What developers want to do with the land underneath those trailers is a major clue.
It's almost time to hear friends in low places on a college football Saturday in Boise. But this season, it'll be at the Pac-12 level. And while we won't get to see the Vandals, maybe one day, Idaho, we will get to see Bronco basketball, soccer, and more under that Pac-12 banner. But the switch from the Mountain West didn't come without a cost. Cooper Morgan explains how Boise State's athletic department is facing a budget deficit that only looks to grow.
He doesn't just live on campus. He practically lives in the stadium.
Yeah, I do. I didn't miss a game last season.
Nathan Woodall's excited to see something new.
But I think it's also cool to be able to, Pac-12 is a very, known conference, so it's going to be fun to be able to play with that logo on the field. That'd be cool to see.
But the move to the Pac-12 didn't come without a price tag.
Obviously, we're behind. We are trying to keep pace with those we compete with.
The university expects a $2 million budget deficit in the athletics budget for the current fiscal year. But if nothing changes, that shortfall could balloon to between $14 and $18 million next year.
That is the introduction of revenue share, as well as the university's transition to the Pac-12 conference.
Revenue share is when the university pays college athletes directly, which they can do now. On top of the sponsorship deals players can already get.
Is evolving about as fast as AI.
Boise State has $10 million set aside for revenue share. And that's not even the $21.5 million max they're allowed to spend.
And I say this a lot, we don't need what everyone else has. We just need more than we currently have.
As for the move to the Pac-12, Boise State paid to leave the Mountain West. The exit costs increased the athletic department's operating budget by about $7.6 million.
Actually also settling the Mountain West before we went into the Pac-12.
Not to mention, fans are just expecting more.
At who we are today and who we want to be tomorrow. I would also say from a stadium and fan experience, and when you look at our facilities, there are deferred maintenance challenges.
To close the budget gap, Boise State is turning its venues into year-round moneymakers, booking monster trucks, banana ball, and a Luke Combs stadium concert.
So in the short term, we're looking at how can we increase revenues with that type of activity. But in the longer term, to keep up with this, we'll have to identify other areas of revenues as well as expenses.
What those other sources of revenue are, we don't know yet, but it'll be worked on.
And we're fighters, and that's what it means to be a Bronco. And so none of this is an excuse in terms of our level of competition and what we expect of ourselves. You come to Boise State to get your degree and compete for championships, and that's a non-negotiable for me and our team.
That culture is something Woodall echoes.
It's the thing where players are going to come here to play. They're not going to come here just for the money. So I think we can look past some of the budget things and start building a culture and bringing in players that want to win.
Kind of like the way he and his RA buddies team up to walk across campus.
I think it's just a family.
State officials clarified that this is not a structural deficit. Yes, athletics has a deficit, but the university has enough reserves to absorb it this year so that this doesn't threaten the university's overall finances right now. But that begs the question, how long can Boise State keep using reserves to cover athletics losses? Hunter, we don't exactly know.
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds like, from my understanding, it's a new year, right? We just switched from Mountain West to Pac-12. That's a big change. A lot of kind of costs that you don't really know how to juggle in the meantime. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. They really have to tackle this type of stuff, and there's not a lot of whole framework around NIL or all. It's so developing. Like you said in that story, AI is kind of something that is similar to just how fast we're seeing this. So Protect College Sports Act was something that they talked about in that meeting. They're really hoping to see some advancements at that at some point, to kind of help these colleges navigate this rapid change.
Yeah, so many changes happening at BSU and with really, college campuses across the country. Yeah, I'm impressed that they're able to navigate as they go, but you got to stay in budget too.
Exactly.
All right, Cooper, thank you. Well, Idaho is growing up and expanding. Cities like Garden City have spent the last several decades reinventing itself. The riverfront has filled in new apartments, restaurants, breweries, and businesses. They've all followed. But there's also part of Idaho's identity that has been disappearing at the same time. It's mobile home parks. So what happens when one of the valley's cheapest paths to a home disappears?
We've covered these goodbyes for years.
Families in Garden City aren't sure where they're going to be living tomorrow. They're being evicted from their homes after the mobile home park they live in has been sold.
Real estate developer Vita Properties is turning the park into a 90-unit multifamily housing apartment complex. Gallipo says he has to be out by December 31st, almost 1 year after getting the eviction notice.
The hallmark of Garden City used to be diverse housing options, from million-dollar homes to mobile home parks. But in this new look Garden City, there are fewer and fewer mobile home parks. The land they're on is being sold off to build these high-end developments.
A park closes and a development moves in. Garden City is just one example of a story playing out across the state. In 2007, Boise State researchers put out this report, Mobile Home Living in Boise, Its Uncertain Future and Alarming Decline. It documented more than 1,300 evictions from park closures since 2001. 10 years later, researchers checked again. The problem hadn't gone away, and they found rising land values put parks at risk because selling the land for redevelopment was more profitable. Nearly 20 years later, Vanessa Fry is still studying it.
Over a decade now, I've been researching housing and homelessness here in the Treasure Valley and kind of across the state writ large.
Vanessa says today, mobile homes are becoming harder and harder to find, which isn't good news because these homes fill a unique gap. They're already affordable without a program or subsidy making them that way.
These kids may be very well close to their school, and if they get uprooted, what does that mean for them and their quality of life? And so it's something I think we have to consider. And if change is going to happen, again, how do we make sure that we maintain a certain level of affordability instead of taking all this affordability away, right? You know, if we take it away here, is there someplace else that we can increase affordability, right? Instead of making things just more expensive.
She says the problem for many people who live in one, the home is theirs, but the ground isn't. And when that ground is sold, mobile doesn't necessarily mean you can move it.
They've been in place for so long, the opportunity to move them is in the past, right? And so then there's this asset that they own, but they can't really take it anywhere. There's no other place for it to be. And so I think that's something we have to take into consideration too.
At a time when Idaho is searching for more affordable housing, Fry says cities should be thinking hard about how much they can afford to lose.
We take away a piece of the puzzle of all the housing opportunities, what goes in its place. What we don't want to go into its place is families falling into homelessness. That's not what we want. We want to prevent that. You know, we want to be able to maintain that level of affordability so we don't lose our community.
Boise has been pushing developers toward affordable multifamily housing, including projects that use low-income housing tax credits. Fry says that's only part of the answer.
Some people want to live in more of a mobile home park community where they have their own unit. Some might want to be in a condo or an apartment complex. The more opportunities we can give, the better, because then people have choice.
So yes, you probably might ask, where are all the mobile homes? Where have they gone? And yes, it is true, they are disappearing. It's a situation that looks bleak, but cities like Boise have been working to take action. We've seen the city buy the land where the mobile home parks sit to maintain the affordable housing there. Fry says part of the ongoing conversation should include the people that are living in these homes. Do they want to collectively buy the land? What can they afford? And to understand where they are coming from. One option that's worked in other states is creating resident-owned communities where mobile home owners form a co-op and then they buy the land beneath their homes together. She says that can protect residents from a future land sale. Well, by the way, in 2006, Idaho's governor, at the time, Jim Risch, signed an executive order creating an advisory committee on mobile home parks. That was born out of what we're talking about today, concerns that rising land values would lead mobile home park owners to sell to developers, and thousands of Idahoans who would live in mobile homes who would have to move but not have anywhere to go. Well, now there are groups like the Idaho Manufacturer Housing Association to advocate at the State House. But But let's go back 50 years ago when mobile homes were used as a source of affordable housing, and it was making it on the news here at Channel 7 too. Not because they were disappearing. In 1976, business for the manufactured homes was headed in a good direction, as Judy Rooks reports in this 208 redial.
Winter is usually the slow season for mobile home builders, but this year demand seems to be holding steady. Builders in the Treasure Valley area say a major reason for their good business is the high cost of conventional homes. While mobile homes usually sell for under $40,000, many new wooden frame homes cost more than that. Builders also point out the quality of mobile homes has improved, making them more popular. Another good business factor is the fair weather, permitting easy shopping and easy moving and installation of the homes. Builders say young persons with small families and retired persons with no family at home make up the largest share of their market. Judy Rooks, Newsbeat 7.
Do you remember a time when mobile homes were a main source of affordable housing? Let us know. Text us at 208-321-5614, and we might just share your thoughts and comments at the end of the show.
Crews are working to put out the biggest fire in the country, and recent winds did not help. Plus, a local woman swam 30 miles, possibly the first Idahoan to do an iconic open water swim. Those details are in the 4-in-1.
The Big Grass Fire is more than 70% contained. It's the largest wildfire burning in the country. Crews are fighting the flames in Owyhee and Malheur counties, and so far, it's burned more than 578,000 acres. The fire is threatening more than 300 homes, and crews are working to find embers from the fire that have blown past the fire line and are putting those out. As if wildfire season wasn't enough for the state to deal with this summer, Idaho's in a drought. It's thanks to the low snowpack from this winter, but an online tool could help ag producers decide when and what crops to plant when the well starts to run dry. A University of Idaho researcher developed an interactive online dashboard that's home to this tool, and now the USDA is funding this research as a response to the current drought we're in. The university says the dashboard will be finalized before planting season next spring. We've previously covered this tool on Inside Ag this spring. You can find more information on that at ktvb.com. While there's no lack of water in the English Channel, where a Meridian local swam the 30-mile distance earlier this month, the city's shared Chrissy Turpin finished it in 15 hours after several years of training for the open water swim. She had to swim through jellyfish, currents, cold temps, and boats. City believes she could be the first Idahoan to accomplish it. And Caldwell Night Rodeo festivities kicked off today. Barrel racing started this morning at 9. Come tomorrow, the Buckaroo Breakfast kicks off the day with the junior and pro rodeos to follow. The city of Caldwell released a map to help you get around. It shows where you can park, as well as the shuttle service that starts at 5:15 at night and ends at 11:15. You can buy the tickets on Caldwell Night Rodeo website, and that's the 4-1 on the 208.
Here's your reminder that we're not just on your TV, we are all over your social networks too, so you can connect with us after hours. Facebook, Instagram, we're everywhere. Feel free to send us an email, even leave us a voicemail, because we know, actually, you know how much we love those. And if you miss any of our 208 shows, they are all available to watch on the KTVB YouTube page. Now to the latest on our monthly giving campaign, the 208 Way. So far, you all have raised more than $900 for Corpus Commons. It's Boise's only daytime shelter. The nonprofit makes their donations go a long way. Their people can take a shower, do a load of laundry, have a meal, and use mailing services. Guests also have the chance to make meaningful relationships while they find some peace in the shelter. The shelter and its volunteers want to help more than 1,000 people every year. So they are looking for volunteers and, of course, donations. And we're making it easy for you. All you have to do is scan that QR code on the right-hand side of your screen. There you can donate to the 208 Way and support Corpus Commons' mission to help our neighbors.
Yes, it has been great to see improvements on our air quality over the past several days. Today we were mostly in the green, a little bit on the yellow, but that's moderate still. We will take it. Outside, mostly cloudy today. It was a little bit darker, but those clouds kept a lid on our temperatures for the first half of the day before the sun came out a little more, warmed us up pretty close to average for this time of year. 91 degrees in Boise, 89 in Twin Falls right now, 83 in McCall, and 84 in Sun Valley. Still partially cloudy in some areas, a little bit of action on satellite and radar, just some few lingering showers really in far southern Idaho and then areas north of our central mountains. So most of that out of our direct viewing area as that monsoon moisture kind of shifts to the east. We will have high pressure building in over the next couple of days. That's going to make us nice and dry. It'll also bring our temperatures upward over the next couple of days. So the summer heat returns once again and intensifies by Thursday into Friday of this week, but then next weekend we'll see more of that monsoon moisture being driven into our area, so we're not done with that just yet. Overnight tonight, things will be pretty quiet, but still some lingering showers possibly moving through the Magic Valley, so you may see some raindrops by the time you're waking up. However, Treasure Valley looking pretty dry and even clear overnight, so those clouds shift out of the valley for the most part before returning come Tuesday afternoon. So in the next 24 hours, we'll see a very similar pattern to what we're seeing right now, and we'll just continue drying out as that moisture moves further and further east, at least in the short-term period for the rest of our work week. Tomorrow, those winds will shift westerly by noontime and even northwesterly by 4 p.m. So unfortunately, a little sad to say, it does look like we could be seeing a little bit more wildfire smoke come Tuesday afternoon. I don't expect that it will be anything as severe as what we've been seeing in the past several weeks. However, that air quality could just be downgraded a little bit more compared to what we've seen today and over the past couple of days. So we might see levels in the yellow or maybe the orange tomorrow afternoon, which is just unhealthy for sensitive groups. We will continue to watch that and how that develops throughout the day, though, because it does depend on a multitude of factors such as how the winds develop and how those fires continue to burn as well. Tomorrow, temperatures won't increase too much just yet. We will see them steadily increase throughout the week, but temperatures in the morning close to average once again. 64 degrees, so not too frigid for Boise to start the day. A couple spots in the 50s in the western Snake River Plain. Stanley looking at a low of 41 tomorrow morning. We then do warm up pretty decently though. 94 degrees in Boise, 97 in Mountain Home, typically warmer than Boise, but yes, it will be pushing triple digits in some spots by tomorrow. Low 90s for the Magic Valley, 80s for some spots in the central mountains. Stanley looking at 80. That could be one of the cooler spots in the local area, so that will be some nicer relief from the heat there, but the sun will fully emerge on Wednesday after partially cloudy skies tomorrow, and then those temperatures just continue to rise all the way through Thursday and Friday, again pushing triple digits in several spots across the valleys. Come Saturday, we will have a cool down though, back to the low 90s, upper 80s by Sunday. We do see that chance for monsoon moisture to bring some showers come this weekend as well, so we'll hope for that because we will take any precipitation that we can get. It's 5:22, so let's go ahead and check in on some traffic at this time. We're looking at I-84 near Garrity interchange, and cars are stacked up. Current traffic flow shows that we're only seeing speeds at about 20 to 25 miles per hour right now. We can see Highway 2026 if we look at current traffic flow as well. Highway 2026 Chinden Boulevard is also stacked up heading in that westbound direction, and it looks a little busier than the interstate right now. So if you're heading west, here's some drive times for you. About 10 minutes from Boise to Meridian, but 30 minutes to Nampa, more than 30 minutes if you're heading all the way out to Caldwell.
All right, let's take a look at some of your comments. We have Cecil and Meridian who says, my husband and I were married in 71 and given an older mobile home was a wedding gift. We had a spot in Garden City for a couple years, dragged it to Ketchum for a couple more, then to Meridian in 75 for 10. It helped save money to build for a house in 85. Too bad that opportunity is not available to young families nowadays. Again, something that we're taking a look at. Then we have Bucky and Haley, similar, saying, I remember when mobile homes were affordable housing. I bought mine in 85. When I first moved to Ketchum, it was all I could afford. I lived in it and skied every day. That sounds like a dream. Until he could afford a house in Haley, 1991, still living there. That's cool too. Well, then we have Joe Ford who says, well, when I was a kid, we used to call it Garbage City. So it's good to see them getting rid of trashy neighborhoods. I understand some of these don't always look the best, but they were a form of affordable housing. And then that kind of follows the next comment that we have, which is from Mark D, who devoted a lot of his life helping with affordable housing. Very difficult when people own a mobile home. The land's not yours. It's been a dilemma for decades. Yes, as we've seen, Phil Batt tried to tackle it in the 90s, Risch as well. The problem's getting worse. There's no solutions. I wish the legislature would focus on affordable housing. Should we wait till the next legislative session? Or am I holding on to too much? I don't know. All right, go out there, have a good day. We'll see y'all tomorrow.